Welcome back. I'm Carrie Welch with Wellness Unwritten. Today's video is all about connecting breath to body movements. If you've ever been in a yoga class and you were confused about whether you were supposed to inhale into a certain posture or exhale into a certain posture and why, this is the video for you. So as everything I do in my videos is connected to the nervous system. When we inhale, it's an expansion. And the nervous system, we go into an expansion and sympathetic response, which is activation. When we exhale, it's a contraction into a parasympathetic response or deactivation. So with movements of the body, we find this expansion and contraction. And with the breath, the lungs expand as well and contract. And so it's this connection of when we're in expansion, our body's going to mimic that expansion. And when we're in contraction, our body is going to mimic the contraction. And in this way, we start to connect our breath to body and start to signal to our nervous system what we want it to do. If we want it to contract and go into a sense of calm, we find that contraction. We're almost teaching our nervous system that it's safe to contract. When we go into expansion, inhale, opening, we're teaching our nervous system that it is safe to expand and go into activation. So hopefully that made sense. And we're going to do just a little bit of a sequence today that helps us move with our breath into each posture and find that undulation between expansion and contraction. So get yourself an exercise mat or a yoga mat. And I recommend a blanket if you have a blanket, or maybe some blocks if you have some blocks. And that way you have some cushion under your knees and your legs, and you're supporting yourself in some way. Support is very, very important in a yoga practice and in somatic practices. So setting up onto your hands and knees into tabletop. We're just going to start there, drawing wrists under shoulders unless you have wrist issues, and then just walk them just a slightly forward. And then your knees are under your hips, about hip distance apart. We're going to start in a child's pose today. So take a nice inhale. As you exhale, we're going to sink tailbone towards our heels. Maybe the knees open up a little bit wider. Drop your elbows down. Maybe you stack your hands and rest your forehead. Starting to release in the shoulders. Another option here is to let the arms come out forward and lower the head all the way down to the ground. Just taking a couple of full breaths there. Maybe full breath into the belly and rib cage. And with each exhale, feel your body start to release and melt into the ground beneath you. Expanding in the belly and the ribs on your inhale. Contracting as you exhale. Releasing, letting go. Feeling yourself melt. Let's take 2 more breaths there. Big breath into the belly. Release as you exhale. And then one more time. Big breath. And release, let go of your shoulders, let go of your hips. Sink a little further. If you want to find a little movement here, you can just rock the head from side to side, rolling the forehead along the ground. Or if your hands are stacked, same thing. You can just rock the head from side to side. Just getting a little movement in the neck. Maybe even the torso and the legs start to shift from side to side as well. So when our body moves in and out of a posture, it's often considered expansion. So as we move into the next posture, we're going to inhale, coming into expansion. So inhale up to tabletop. Draw the knees back in about hip distance apart, wrists under your shoulders. And we're going to do a basic expansion and contraction here using our spinal column, which is connected to the basis of our nervous system and the base of our brain. So on an exhale, contraction, we're going to curl inward, lifting the spine towards the ceiling. Inhale, expansion, lift the tailbone, roll the spine towards the mat, shoulders back into cow pose. On an exhale, we're going to contract again, curling up into cat. Inhale, expansion, opening the lungs into cow. Couple more breaths here, just feeling the movement of the spine and the expansion and contraction of your breath. Moving with the breath, almost like the breath is a guide for your body and your nervous system. So whenever you're ready, we're going to meet back into a neutral spine. All right, curling the toes under, we're going to take a breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog, which is another posture that is considered contraction because it's curling inward. And that is why we exhaled into downward facing dog. Maybe you find movement here, movement in the body, maybe the joints, pedaling out the heels, or bending in the knees a little. Maybe drawing chest a little towards your toes. Feet are about hip distance apart. Take a breath in. Exhale back to another contraction, tabletop. So anytime there's contraction, we exhale. Anytime there's grounding or curling inward, we exhale. We're going to do that again. Curl the toes under, take a breath in. Exhaling, downward facing dog. It's a contraction. Take a breath in. Exhale, tabletop. Knees come all the way back down. Another contraction. We're going to inhale into cow, so dropping the spine towards the mat on your inhale, shoulders back. Exhale, child's pose, contraction. Curling up, sinking tailbone towards your heels. Maybe keeping the knees a little closer together here and just rocking from side to side. Just letting your body find some movement. If you need to stay up on your elbows here, you can, or you can drop your forehead all the way to the mat. And just check in with yourself here in child's pose. Maybe you come to stillness and you just check in. Support yourself however you need it, stacking your hands. Feel the ground under you. Notice any sensations that you might be having and notice them with compassion. Just offering yourself a safe place to feel these sensations or emotions that come up. Maybe releasing the shoulders a little. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up out of our posture. All right, settling yourself back into a tabletop position here. Take another couple of cat-cows just to get some movement in the spine. We're going to inhale as we come into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Coming back to a neutral spine. Now we're going to move with the breath, and we're going to move a little bit quicker here. So curling the toes under. Nice breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale here. Exhale, tabletop. On your inhale, cow, drop the spine towards the mat. Exhale, child's pose, sinking back into contraction on your exhale. Couple breaths. When we lift up out of child's pose, we're coming into a tabletop. We're going to inhale. And the reason we're inhaling into tabletop is because we're lifting up off of the ground, which is, while we're on the ground, it's considered contraction. If we lift up off the ground, it's expansion, which is why we inhale as we come back up. So on your next inhale, come up into tabletop. Exhale, cat, or lift your spine towards the ceiling. Inhale, neutral spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. Toes curl under, lift up and back in the hips. Maybe wagging the tail from side to side. We're only going to do this a couple more times, okay? Exhale, tabletop, coming down to the ground into contraction. Inhale, cow, drop the spine towards the mat. Exhale, child's pose, contraction going towards the ground. Couple of breaths, let your body settle. We're going to do that round one more time. On your next inhale, come up off the mat into expansion. Exhale, cat pose, spine towards the ceiling. Inhale, flatten out the spine or neutral spine, curl the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths. On your next exhale, come back down into contraction and grounding to the mat, tabletop. Inhale, cow, spine towards the mat. Exhale, child's pose. This time, our child's pose is going to look a little different. And this is optional, of course. Bringing the elbows in towards each other, flipping palms up. Walk them slightly in between the knees and rest your forehead on your hands or your face in your hands. Take a couple of breaths there, just feeling your body melt, letting go of the muscles. Maybe again, bigger breaths into the belly and ribs. And as you exhale, find a release in your shoulders, in your hips. Noticing the sensations of your hands on your face, maybe the temperature, if it's soothing. And just paying attention to the support beneath your body. The support that is the ground, that is your blanket, that is your mat, your hands, even how your body supports you. Let's take one more big breath there in child's pose, in our contraction, in and out. On your next inhale, we're coming back up to tabletop. And then we're going to come to a seated position. So whatever seated position works best for you, you can straddle a pillow, you can sit up on a blanket and crisscross, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. So coming to a seated position, what we're going to do here is just get into the neck and shoulders, kind of a cervical reset, just to feel a little bit of release off of our neck and shoulders, because that's often where we feel really heavy. And I'm going to connect it as well to our breath and that idea of expansion and contraction. So starting, bringing the arms out to the side, we're going to inhale, sweep them up. Maybe you look up just slightly. Don't crick the neck too much here. All right, and take a big breath in. Feel that expansion as you inhale, and then as you exhale, contraction, sweeping the arms back out to the side, and then bringing the arms across your body. Maybe the chin tucks down and you give yourself a big hug. Maybe you round your spine. This is definitely a contraction here, a down regulation of your nervous system. And while you're here in this down regulation movement and posture, see if your exhales naturally increase and lengthen. So the inhale won't be quite as long as your exhale. It's almost easier to exhale when we're in a contraction. Not as easy to take long inhales. On your next inhale, we're going to expand and bring the arms back out to the side. And maybe you see if you can reach the arms slightly back. Take a couple of breaths there. This is definitely expansion, and I'm sure you can feel it in your chest, in your torso. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your knees into contraction. Again, round your spine into a cat pose. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Okay, let's get into the neck a little bit more here. We're going to bring the arms behind the back into a little posture of just grabbing either wrists or forearms. We've done this before in another video. And see if you can roll the shoulders back. And that alone, you'll feel some neck opening. Maybe opening in the chest and shoulders. This is expansion. I'm sure it feels like expansion, activation. So leaving your left arm there, we're going to take the right arm, inhale, reaching up, and then exhale, bring your right hand to the back of your head or your neck. Maybe that right elbow lifts up just slightly. I know this might feel a little uncomfortable. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, reach up again, so expansion. Exhale, sweep it back down, contraction. All right, release that left arm behind your back. Shake out your arms a little bit or shake out your wrists. We're going to go to the other side. So taking that right arm behind your back, inhale, left arm reaches up. As you exhale, bend your left elbow. See if you can bring your hand either to the back of your head or to the back of your neck, either way. And then lift that left elbow out a little bit to the side, maybe up. If you ever have any sharp pain, please back off. One more breath. On your next inhale, reach that left arm up and release it. Both arms, shake them out. You should feel some blood flow just going crazy in your arms right now. You can feel warm, tingly. All right, relaxing the hands on the knees. Just roll your shoulders a couple of times. And relax, bringing the legs forward. So it is very nice to sit up on something in this posture. So if you were straddling a pillow or something, come to a seated position on a blanket or your pillow, coming towards the edge of it so that your hips roll up and forward so that your tailbone's not tucked quite so much here. And we're going to try another version of expansion and contraction here. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms forward and up. This is expansion. As you exhale, shift forward and reach towards your toes. If you don't touch your toes, that's fine. If you want to bend your knees a little bit to touch your toes, you can do that as well. This is contraction. That's why we exhaled into it. It's a curling in, a forward fold, a grounding posture. We're going to take a couple of breaths here, just holding onto your toes or your ankles or your shins. Feel the rounding of your spine as you sink in. As you inhale, maybe on one of your inhales, see if you can lengthen the spine and draw your chest towards your toes. Exhale, round, contraction. Maybe on an inhale, feel that expansion, lengthen in the spine, draw chest toward your toes. Exhale, round. On your next inhale, we're going to slowly come back up, bringing hands behind your back. Just point your toes and flex, maybe circle it out or wiggle the toes. And we're going to come into our last posture here, which is our butterfly, which I've done in my sessions before. So bringing soles of the feet together. I almost can't do a practice without getting into the hips a little bit. So hands on your feet or ankles. See if you can inhale and lengthen. This is that expansion. And then maybe you exhale and start to fold over or just stay right where you are, whatever works for you. If you need some more cushion under your knees, please grab something to help support yourself. Do one more breath here. And on an inhale, we're going to rise back up. Draw the knees in. And then maybe you just wrap your arms around them and rock from side to side. And that is our practice for today. If you have any questions, comments, anything, please leave me a comment below. I will include the link to my website if you're curious about me, and I will also include links to a couple of the videos I've posted about the autonomic nervous system. So I'm still getting used to videos, making video content, so thank you for your patience with me, and thank you for trusting me with your practice today. Namaste.